All right, here we go again. Gotta get moving here. My glasses are all fogged up. So again, beautiful day today. I wish it was a little cloudier. There's some high cloud, which is helping out a bit, but not terribly awesome. Still creates areas of light and dark. A little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to making the videos. So, if you remember at the beginning of the episode, I mentioned the elevation. We were at 1219. So now the GPS is saying that we're at 1241, 1242. That's because we're continuing to climb. The elevation at Thunder Bay is like 600 and something feet. I think Lake Superior is just over 600 feet. Thunder Bay is like 620, something like that. And so we keep climbing as we head west. And then up by Graham, which is kind of like the halfway point. You know, we were up around 1,600 feet. We reached the height of land. This section in particular is a bit of a enigmatic section. So if I look at the GPS, I don't know if you can see it here. Oops, brakes are a little wet. It's telling us that we were heading about, keeps bouncing back and forth, 25, 26 degrees. We're actually going backwards. So we should be heading west, but we're heading kind of in a north-northeast direction. The reason for that is because there was a big sort of grade issue in this area, and so to mitigate that, the railway took a pretty interesting approach. So the elevation at Ellis Road again was approximately 1,220 feet, and then the elevation at the road that we're going to be reaching at the end of this hike is 1,353 feet. So we have to climb over 150 feet. And so if you did a straight line to that, the distance would be about 3 miles. And the gradient on that would be about 0.84%, so almost 1%. Now, the Grand Trunk Pacific and the NTR system had some pretty strict stipulations on grades. The idea was everything had to be below 1% and as low as possible. So what they did here, and I'm going to show you a map, is they built this huge elongated S-curve. So basically where we started from at Ellis Road, there's a curve. Then we go through this long straight stretch that's a couple miles long. And then up at the top, we curve again, and then we start heading west. So again, we end up backtracking through this particular section. And so again, the direct route would have been 3 miles at 0.84% grade. The actual distance is 4.65 miles, and the gradient is 0.54. So doing this increased the distance 52% and reduced the gradient by 36%. Now, I guess the question has to be was that worth it? Was a 1.6 mile extension of the route, or basically adding to the length 1.65 miles, and then only to decrease the grade 0.3%. Was that worth it? I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not a civil engineer, and as the saying goes, nor do I play one on television. So I don't know if the benefit was worth it. Obviously, any grade reduction is beneficial, but you know, certainly it did create an interesting feature here. So let's show you those maps. Okay, so we're gonna take ourselves up to where the grade bends, and again we're just climbing 1255. Again, I don't know how super accurate, we'll see when we get to the end how super accurate the altimeter is on the GPS here, but again it was a lot easier coming the other way, and I didn't have the dog in the trailer as well, so that helps. So here we're shielded from the sun a little bit, so it certainly makes things a lot better. Oh. So lots of, I think here there's a big sort of dip in the grade. I think there was I just kind of poked my head down and looked, but I didn't bother going down there. So essentially there's probably an old wooden box culvert that's collapsed, and everything's just sort of subsided. So just up here, we're gonna start getting into our curve, our turn at the top of this long straight stretch. Not too many straight stretches in this area here. Have to get a little bit further to the west where the line starts to straighten out again. A lot of grade issues, and again a lot of attempts to mitigate those issues. Whew. Again, some of that high cloud. These trees shield us a little bit here, which is nice. Kind of evens out the colors. Again, we were out yesterday. We did a long hike yesterday, and we kind of got a little bit longer one today too, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to do this one, but then the next section, we were here a couple of weeks ago, so here we have a little bit of rock work. Sorry to interrupt myself here. And so this is kind of a precursor to some of the rock work that's coming up, some big rock cuts coming up very shortly. So we were here a couple weeks ago, and we did the section, the next section between the road, Finnmark Flat Road, up to a bridge. And unfortunately that day it just kind of misted the whole time, and the video did not turn out particularly awesome. So yesterday we did the piece on the other side by Griff Station, and so we redid 4 miles of the previous video, and today we're going to do the other couple miles. So I'm going to put a lot of miles on the next couple of days here, or sorry, in these couple days here. After the line was abandoned, there was logging that happened in this area. Not as much here and not as much recently, and that's why you see sort of the condition of the grade here. The ballast and stuff has been punched down quite a bit, but you can see it's all starting to overgrow here. Not as much traffic, obviously, with that washout. I don't know when the washout happened. Happened the last 4 years. But obviously this isn't being used as much. Again, you can see some of the remnants of that logging. I don't know. Yeah, those are logs, those are not ties. So we continue to turn here. Lots of embankments in this area. So essentially there's a major river just to the south of us here, the Matawan, which eventually merges with the Dog to form the Kaministiquia. And so there's lots of little creeks and things, little tributaries flowing to the south, one of which we're going to see momentarily here. Oh, 1270. See, we've climbed 70 feet since we started. So here we're back into the sun, and we start picking up this big long embankment here, and there's a little break, and then there's going to be an even bigger embankment. Oh God. the dog's really taken to the trailer. Like when I tell her to jump in, she just jumps in. She's kind of ready to go. She doesn't like the, I have a nose harness just to kind of keep her in there. She doesn't quite, not quite keen on that, but I think she likes riding. Cool. All right, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna hold up for a second, and then our first big feature is coming up right up here, just around the bend. Okay, so let's pause for a minute.